Hi, I am Deborah R. Richardson of Deborah R. Richardson LLC, and I work with you to help you clean up your vendor data, clean up your vendor processes so that you pay the right vendor. Now, this week's vendor master file tip of the week is a shared inbox. Email burnout can cause payment fraud. Signs or three warning signs and how to handle. Now, if you are an AP or on a vendor team, many of you have set up shared email boxes to handle the inquiries from internals and vendors. And you and I know that it means a large volume of emails, and that can cause email burnout to those team members that you have assigned to handle that shared inbox. And so today we're going to talk about how to handle three warning signs. And so first, though, we're going to start with what is email burnout. And I will put a link in the description to the Bitdefender article that really triggered this video so that you can read more. But email burnout occurs when an inbox starts to feel like pressure rather than a tool. And that means that it can cause avoidance, stress, and fatigue, really just leading to rush responses or ignoring messages, especially those that have subject lines that include phrases like following up again or action required or quick chat. Yeah, I hated those quick chats because they were never quick. So this can definitely occur right in that shared email box environment that you use to receive vendor documents or AP invoices. Again, lots of volume. So let's see what those three signs are and how you can mitigate them. So the first sign is really avoidance and delay. So intentionally avoiding or delaying work emails that just feel complex or stressful. And so what I would say is to consider reassigning that team member, especially if you see that this assignment is starting to cause mental health issues. The next one is feeling overwhelmed or anxious, even when they have like a small volume of emails or unread messages. And again, we know how many AP and the vendor team can receive. And so when I was a practitioner, what I did is I used filters, email rules, and other strategies to route incoming emails to specific folders based on how I assigned email ownership. And so this decreased constant pressure for, any one team member to look at all emails. And so assign ownership and then have rules to route incoming emails to those folders based on how you assigned ownership. And then lastly, this is a big one, right? Missing red flags. So instead of looking for those red flags, and I know that not everyone can find 100% of them, but when you miss red flags because they are scanning messages instead of reading them carefully, right, just to quickly clear the inbox, you know what can happen. That can lead to payment fraud. And so, what I recommend is that you add approval levels to the vendor process. So, an example, if this was a request to change vendor remittance information, there should be a second set of eyes on the change, like in the approval workflow. A lot of your accounting system or ERPs have that for whenever a vendor record is updated or added. Turn that on, and then that way there's a second set of eyes to make sure that the request was processed correctly and that there were no red flags. Be sure to require a copy of the email that requested the add or change along with the supporting documents that's added to the vendor record or added to the file where you store those vendor documents. That way, the approver can have a second set of eyes on that email as well. All right. And here I have that's coming up next. This is if you have an approval workflow, right? You need to use it. And if you don't have it or if it's not automated, I've got some tips for you. So this podcast is coming up next, or you can listen to it wherever you listen to podcasts. All right. So if you would like more information on how to improve your vendor process, please go to my website at deborahrichardson.com for free tools and resources to avoid fraud, regulatory fines, and just overall bad vendor data. If you would like over 173 annual hours of training for your vendor team, check out the Vendor Process Training Center at training.deborahrichardson.com. So good luck and be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified next Tuesday for the next Vendor Masterfile tip of the week.